All right, welcome to my video and to my channel. We've got kind of a unique problem we're trying to solve today. I came out this morning and the doggy door, the little vinyl flap, had just snapped right off. So hopefully we can help you out. We're going to DIY fix this thing. It's not impossible. We're going to save about 20 bucks or so in doing it. And before we start, the basic problem is we live in some pretty cold temperatures, and after about 3 years or so, by the way, we love this doggy door, and I'll put a link down below for this particular unit, but if you just want to replace the whole thing, right? But this is a common, I suspect, a common breaking point. Season after season, cold temperatures after cold temperatures, it basically just gives, it's not, designed to last forever, and it might snap right there. So how do we fix it? We're going to start off by removing the screws. Obviously, you might have a different doggy door setup, but stay with me, and hopefully some of these principles that I show you, some of these tips that I show you will apply. So what we're going to do is remove this little white plastic piece behind the unit, and then you can take out the actual broken top part of the flappy doggy door, just like that. Okay, so you can see there's the breaking point. And take note of the orientation there, because we're going to try to put it back in the exact same place. You don't want to flip that around. Anyway, we're going to take those little twisty ties, those things that, secure your bread, your loaf of bread. And we're going to be using the really thin wire that's inside of this. This wire is designed to twist and turn and to be really, really flexible without breaking, right? So we're going to actually shave off the outer paper part of it. Now you could try to peel back the wire yourself without shaving it first, but it's pretty tough to do. So a little tip here, take an edge of a scissors and just shave off the top part, and then you should be able to peel back the wire. And you're going to need 3 or 4 of them depending on how many holes that you have. Next, we're going to wash the vinyl flap, the broken piece, really well. And we'll also wash the top broken part as well, just to get all that grime and whatnot off. And you can see how that white plastic piece, the backing, kind of holds the top part into place. Next, we're going to take some alcohol wipes and scrub that down, and we're going to be applying some super glue. Yes, some super glue. Now, if you have super glue in your house, you're going to want to make sure that it does bond to vinyl and plastics really well. This particular stuff does, and I will pop a link down below. Obviously, if you have to run out and buy special super glue for this, you might as well just buy a replacement doggy door, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. This stuff only costs like a few bucks, where your doggy door replacement will cost upwards of 20 bucks or so. So it still may be a cost savings if you buy the super glue, but that's basically the only thing you have to buy for this project if you're looking to DIY it like me. So what we're going to do after we have super glue applied to both the top and the bottom, we're going to remember that orientation that I told you about earlier. Make sure that is the same orientation as it was. You should be able to line up the jagged kind of break marks, and do this before you apply the super glue, because that will help you obviously get that orientation. And we're going to just lightly apply it and then take some clamps. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because it is flexible, so it might kind of bend on you a little bit. But we want to get most of those gaps covered. And we're going to let it just sit overnight, or I don't know, a couple hours will probably do the trick, if not faster. And then we'll remove the clamps, and you can see the stuff is hardened and bonded pretty well. But just to make sure, because I'm not happy with just the super glue itself, I don't think I could sleep well with that. And we're going to be drilling really small holes, about as small as holes you can find, a little drill bit there, and just drill it just south of the large screw hole. Can you see that? And we're going to be taking those little bread twisty ties and kind of suturing it, if you will. You'll just pass one in through the hole like that you just drilled, and then you'll kind of wrap it, one of the ends, through the big screw hole. Now, don't worry about is it going to impede the actual screw once you mount it back into place? No, because this stuff is so thin, your screw that you put in later won't even know it's there. And you'll basically just twisty tie that on the end, and this is going to provide, obviously, an extra layer of security. Make sure those twisty ties are pulled tight before you actually twist them down. So we're going to do that 3 drill holes, because we have 3 main holes, 3 large holes for the screws. Now you could drill more if you felt the urge to in your broken bottom piece, but the problem is there might not be an adequate place for you to drill in the top piece, right? But you could certainly assess your specific doggy door and drill more holes if you need to with more twisty ties. But I found that three are going to work, I think, pretty well and suffice for kind of that backup. So we'll go ahead and twist that through and tighten those down on the other side. And we're going to be snipping off the excess here. You could just wrap them if you want to, because we're going to put a trim piece and hide all this ugly suture mess later in the video, coming up pretty soon. So like I said, you can put those aside or snap them off for now. And with those sutures, so to speak, in place, we can remember I told you the super glue didn't have to be perfect earlier, right? Well, here's a chance where you can fill in all of those gaps. If you notice that your first attempt at super gluing got most of it, but not all of it, you can take some super glue and fill in those gaps and just, again, let it sit for a couple of hours or until it dries. If you don't have super glue, you can use this outdoor adhesive stuff. It bonds pretty well, and it's going to be a little gooier, and you can apply it in more quantities versus like a little super glue thing, right? That's a possibility as well. So with some snippers, we'll just kind of break off that excess there and just put them down below. Now, as far as trim piece, you're not going to want to use wood. You could use popsicle sticks if you want to paint them and go nuts, but that's a little jimmy rigged for me, and I don't want it to be, a wood piece. So if you have plastic or if you have metal, that would be preferable. I happen to have some old, for like a screened window, some trim from an old screen window that's metal and it's designed to be outside. So I'm just going to take a hacksaw and just cut that down to size, just a simple little strip there. It's got a nice white finish to it, and I think it'll match the little doggy door quite well. So we'll get that cut down to size. And it just have to get that top layer cut, and the rest should snap right off if you're dealing with coated aluminum or something like that. All right, so we'll get the actual piece back into place. This is a finished doggy door now. In terms of the break that happened, it is secure and I think quite strong. Now, I can't attest to how long it will actually hold up. We'll see, and I'll post another video if I am disappointed or surprised. So check back in a couple of years, hopefully. Anyway, we'll get those secured back in, and we're going to actually put that trim piece up, and we're going to super glue it using some outdoor adhesive, that same stuff that I showed you earlier. We're just going to glop it on there, make sure. See, it's a little tight, so you could certainly shave that down if you wanted to make it a perfect fit. But we're going to put some outdoor adhesive on the back side of it and also the top, and make sure that your trim, if you do have a beveled edge, it's pointing toward the way that you want it to point. And it's going to basically just cover up that ugly suture. Not that it's super visible anyway, because you're kind of always looking at the doggy door from a bird's eye point of view, right? So it is kind of covered, but if you are obsessive like me, you could do something like that. And we'll let that dry and see how the pup enjoys it. All right. Looks like we're pretty good. You could put a layer of caulking up there to hide that gap if you want to. Outdoor, just 100% silicone. And one more shot here for you of him coming through. Boom. Doggy door is fixed. DIY style. So hopefully this video has helped you out. If it has, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks.